Now I can't answer that because we're recording. Okay, so this is our June 10th Zoom Charlotte Disc Golf Club meeting. And we're going to start here with finances, it sounds like. All right, let me share my screen. All right, how are we doing? Can we see that?
Yep.
Roger.
All right, Joseph.
All right, so balance sheet, this is just a snapshot of where we are in time right now. I can give you a further breakdown when we get into the profit and loss next. So if you want to reserve your questions for there, or if anyone has any questions now, I'll be happy to answer them.
I know Brian had been concerned about PayPal. Is that something we're less concerned about now? He'd been trying to keep PayPal around $300.
Oh, really? Okay, I was never made aware of that. If that is something we want to remain concerned about, or I could always follow up with Brian on that, so I can, make it a routine, I guess, to transfer anything in excess to our bank account. I don't mind doing that at all.
Yeah, he had been worried about the whole friends and family and that whole mess that happened last year just across the the country and the disc golf world, where people are getting their PayPal bank accounts closed because they're doing so much business but not counting it as a business thing,
Okay.
goods and services. And so he was just really concerned because of the history. Even though we ask for people to pay a little bit more and do goods and services, sometimes we do. Or people pay goods and services, it would be less, because the PayPal would take out their portion. And so because of all that, he just didn't want PayPal grabbing a bunch of money.
I understand. Yeah. I'll follow up with BT on that. And I'll do my own little, I guess, reading on PayPal and its current scenario with that, because we definitely wouldn't want to chance club finances for something like that. So I will look into that.
Only question I had.
Cool.
Profit and loss?
Profit and loss sounds good. So this is a snapshot of everything from our last meeting to today.
Hey, look, we got some money from Amazon Smile.
Yes, we did.
Thank my wife.
I've been using it.
Cool. And I guess, and Joe, I'm
Yes.
still sitting on the cash from Sugar Creek Gambling League. I have not yet been to the bank, so I've still got that same amount of money still sitting here.
No problem, Jim. I figured as much and didn't hound you for it. We do have, like I said, we're waiting on that Innova invoice to be settled out with the gentleman I mentioned in the email earlier. Outside of that, I did have a question about Women's League. Do any of the proceeds of that go to the club? And if so, I guess I just need to contact Debbie about that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's my understanding that the club gets $1 per person
Right.
from
Okay.
Women's League, just like the other non-handicap leagues do.
Okay. Other than that, yeah, I think all the leagues have turned in money. I'm waiting. I figured Jim and Kaney, you guys are going to get with me eventually here. I'll talk with Debbie, and I know Huey, you have tons of receipts to give me, so I look forward to that too.
Oh yeah, if you want them, all you need to do is ask.
Yeah. When this whole situation blows over, I'll grab the binder from you.
No. I'm gonna glue them all and scan them in, but you just need to say you
Okay.
want them. I'm not gonna do extra work to beg me.
I'll need them. Realistically, I'd probably need them within the next 3 weeks, I'd say, just because the deadline for tax filing is coming upon us, and I'd like to go ahead and knock that out.
Pretty much I only have 2019, all 18 I've sent to Brian. So was that what you're looking for? Is 19? Or I'm sorry, 20.
Yes.
20. Okay. Okay. All right. Get off this sucker.
Sounds good.
All right. Want to talk about memberships?
Sure. We're sitting at 500. We had a pretty good influx this week, really. I think we had like 4 or 5 sign up this week, and then we got all of another rounds that came in. So those have all been entered. All the people who have signed up this week have already been fulfilled. I've shipped them out. We're doing really good. Starting to think about next year. Thought about reaching out to Skeet about a design for the bag tags, and I don't really want to mess with the logo at all, especially since we're going to start opening the online store. And you guys tell me if this rain is too loud, like background noise. It's loud as hell in here, but I can't tell if it's loud through the microphone. So
It's
Yeah.
not that bad, though.
switch it up. All right. Yeah, so we don't want to switch the logo up anytime soon. Even though we've had it for about 6 years now, I think we need to continue with this, with the brand. And that's going to help us with the new marketing, new branding stuff as far as like shirts. Thinking about doing shirts again. I know Mark Huther really wants the water bottles, but I don't know if that's going to work out. So I think we'll probably skip that next year. But I think maybe shirts again. And I've got a vendor who does embroidery, screen printing, engraving. And so I'm going to have some conversations with him about membership items for next year. But as far as where we're sitting this year, it's really good considering the circumstances. And then, maybe a month or so from now, if we can get the Chagall back online and get some other leagues and maybe be able to have a membership event, then we could even bolster those numbers. But right now, I'd say we're in really good shape.
I want to be on the record saying I do not want water bottles.
Yeah,
That's
thought
not
you-
what I heard,
I thought
but
you
okay.
wanted stickers with whatever we put in, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, hey, I got the stickers. The stickers are here in my shop right now, man. So
Are
I've just got to weed and tape them and get them ready. You know what? So my vendor actually messed up and then cut some at size, the way the file came in, the size it was supposed to be, and I was going to have them scale them down because they're pretty big. We've got like 60 or so oversized decals that we could try to find something to do with.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How big?
Yeah, they gave them to us
How
for
big?
free.
How big are they?
They're pretty big. Let me see if I can get one. Y'all go ahead and continue on. We'll wrap up membership, but I'll show you this in a second.
All right.
You want me to go through courses real quick?
Yeah.
I'm going to share again. I got a little presentation because even though I said real quick, it's probably not going to be.
Let's try, yeah?
I'll do my best. I'll try. It'll be about the same as your overpriced stickers.
Oh, my God.
All right,
Doesn't
here we
even
go.
take that long. I just want stickers. That's it. It's just like a sentence.
I got a sticker printer. I'll make you some.
I already have some. It's for the greater good. It's for marketing, for advertising.
Okay, so I lost a letter when I was doing this really quickly, but it's like 6.5 inches by 7 and some change.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
pretty big.
Yeah. That's
So we got a
big.
smaller version too.
Good.
Yeah, but that's not too big. Where
It's not
I would
enormous.
rock-
Yeah.
Oh, I would rock that sticker in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So we could give some of those away maybe, and some of the free ones, and then we'll sell the other ones. I don't know. We'll figure out a plan.
Cool.
But we
Hey,
got some
Josh.
extra inventory. Huh?
I do also want to just let you know, I think Mark's boss has like a screen printing company at his shop too. So if you ever need like extra help or like want to talk like prices and stuff, I know that he has like a huge screen printing machine at the shop or coming to the shop. So we can talk offline about it, but I just want to let you know. So if you ever wanted to like talk rates or prices, just let me know. We can talk.
Yeah, it'd be good to have another vendor to compare prices, because I really
Yeah.
don't have a lot of resources right now. So, but this one guy
Oh,
seems promising.
Yeah, well, I just know he legit built like a room in his like the crafty warehouse where they already have the screen printing like machine, and it's like a huge machine, and so I think that it's just going from there. So like we can talk offline. I just wanted to let you know just in case.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, I've got some. I've got a guy who plays that's a project manager at a vinyl company that can do decals, all that stuff. Relatively cheap.
Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I actually have a vinyl installation business, and so I've got plenty of contacts with vinyl graphics and stuff like that. But as far as shirts, that's one connection that I don't have a lot of contacts in that industry. So I'm looking for somebody, and I found one guy, and apparently Carolyn's got another guy. So we got a couple leads right now.
I can reach out. I graduated graphic design, so I could reach out to a bunch of people and see if they've got any good shirt vendors. I know a few people that make them. I could reach out to some of the old teachers and see if they got some stuff going on too, if you're interested.
Okay, yeah. Shoot me some names and numbers. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'll switch over to that. Sorry, here. Give me a second. Something happened here. I'm gonna switch over to my screen. Okay. Okay. Y'all see this?
Yep.
Okay. Make it big. Okay. Oh, it jumped away. Sorry. It's all right. I'll just leave it on here. Okay, so I'm going to talk about these courses, Nest, Nevin, Kilbourne, Idlewild, Eastway, and then the volunteer raffle. So, Hornets Nest. Here is, there's a lot going on here. I'll try to show you to the best of my ability, but you see the Hornets Nest map here? Is that showing up on your screens?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, this green line here was the original plan for the Greenway with a potential plan for this dotted line. You can see it pretty much take out all of these 3 holes, which right now we're calling 8. Well, we call it 8 this way, 9 and 10. And when they come through, they clear 50 feet in both, 25 feet each side of the center line. So this red line here, where my mouse is, that's 50 feet on a map. So if you think about that swath of land being clear cut all the way across, that's sort of what damage would have been done, right?
Yeah.
So I'll work with them. And right now we're working on this yellow line. Okay. The one issue is that it goes right down what the course is calling 11, which has the extra long, has a long and a shorter tee box in it. We put it in for the Pro Tour event. That's a nice flat land. So they save a little bit of money on clearing, which they can put back into making their greenway an extra, 25% longer in this area, right? So because of this, then we have to do something. So right now, I just sort of looked at the area just on the other side of that fairway to have this dotted line fairway. And because we've made 8 and 9 like an A and B to keep people all on the right side of the road, just tournament wise and flow and everything, that whatever's happened upstream, anytime we get a rain, that whole place floods. And we knew it, in Worlds we had to cancel that hole for a number of pools, and to have that situation in a big tournament doesn't make sense. So that's why probably going to add a hole. So we got past what is 12 on this map, which would be the big par 4 through the double gold diamonds. The park is traditionally this land in C here, where it says C, this was all non-park land. They bought this, but they're putting in athletic fields. So we can't really build in here. I found that out this week. So anyways, this is sort of what it's looking at. what we're looking at, where we kind of come from 7, we play what we call now is 10. We play that first 9, 10, and then walk around back to get back over here, and then we'd have another hole over here. So we're gonna work on that. The park will cut that in, and then they'll do a lot of the work, and I think pay for the concrete and all that stuff. So all we have to do is flag it out and then do some finishing touches when they're done with their woods mulcher. Anybody have questions on March?
No, I would say, Mark, that's great. You were able to work with him to get those compromises made. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, we just didn't have land. I mean, we do have a tunnel, kind of a bit of land over here, but without losing all this, I mean, for them to cut through and kill 3 of the holes. And then also they're going to come down like what was old hole 10. If anybody, the little hyzer, and they'll cut across 18 and to the left of 17, but I think out of the way of it. And there'll be plenty of room for us to see people walking and stuff. It'll be at the beginning of the throw, so I don't think it'll be a big deal. So anyways,
So are they going to the right of the shack and then the park and rec building over there? Or are they going to the left of that?
you mean the park and rec like kind of house?
Yeah. They're going to the right of that or to the left of that?
So if you see can you see on the map?
Oh, that's the park and rec house. I got you.
You're going behind it. So basically between 17 and the park and rec enclosure, that's where they're gonna go. In that low area.
Okay. Interesting.
So the closer I can get them to the park and rec area, the better. So Nevin walked that yesterday with the park director. The neighbors have had enough. And now we're getting to some sort of, we're getting into any little thing becomes every. They complained about hearing bottles rattling. People drinking on a tee box and hearing bottles rattling when they're sitting on their front porch. So whether that's true or not, doesn't matter. What matters is now every little thing is going to become, there's a disc in my yard, I'm going to call everybody I know in the park department, And so we just have to make big changes to 14 or else we're just going to lose it all together, right? So, so the first thing is 13, even though it only moved from like here to here, and I showed them because they said, oh, they cut out all these trees and all this stuff, and I just showed them the woods and I said, find a stump. We didn't cut out any trees. We just kind of mowed down some of the tall grass and put a basket in here. So we didn't do anything like they said we did. We're 125 feet from their property. You have to be 100 feet, so we're in the zone, but he just said, can you just move it back unless you have tournaments? And when you have tournaments, we'll go in, we'll brush hog it, we'll finish mow it for you, a week or two before the tournament. Then we'll move it back and you can just have it whenever you want it for big tournaments. And I was like, whatever, that's totally fine. Because we played Nevin forever with it in the short. So I gave them the code. They went and moved that. They moved the shorter kind of 400-foot par 3 basket. And we're just going to eliminate that path through those 2 trees altogether. And so you can see the old fairway is this dotted line. So we're going to plant some trees. I said that, we'd even as a club pay, because the people that live here, their family owned the farm. And so they remember like playing on the trees, and so to have nails in the trees is sort of like, it's like, and to have the Mando signs and all this stuff. They remember like picnicking under the trees when they were younger, and now there's these ugly red M's on them and stuff, and so it was okay for 8 or 9 years, but they've had some negative conversations with different disc golfers and some heated discussions, and now it's become a thing. And so, I just offered out of the blue. I said, hey, we'd be willing to like put in, plant some trees. Park said that they'd probably, be willing to pay for this, but, we'd put in some granite, rocks with the names of their relatives or grandparents or parents or whatever, if they're not here with us anymore, and just kind of dedicate like a grove of trees. So that one would protect any like super errant throws, but then we change the flight of the disc golf course to be the one that I have here. Park said that they'd move the tee pad to the correct orientation for us. They'd brush hog all this out for us. No one's used these. No one's used these horseshoe pits since I built the course. So, and we made a new green, so people will be able to throw here. There's 2 big trees. It's a bigger gap. It's 2 more trees over from what we threw in Worlds. So it's even farther over. And then we'd kind of come down into this area and then transition along the creek. And this is all mowed out, but they said they'd finish it for us with their brush hogs and everything. They plan to get out there, relatively soon. Like I said, I gave them the combination. They moved all the baskets for us. And then the guy that's in charge of this park and some of the North Region parks is like, hey, he really wants us to communicate when we're doing work. And he's like, we'll do the stuff for you. Like, I got the money, I got the time, I got the people, I got good experienced people, I got machinery. Like, we want you to be here. We just want to knock this stuff out. So you're not out there 8 hours busting your butt. If it can take us an hour with some machinery. So I committed to him that we'd be a little bit more, we communicate more when we do work. But anyway, so this is sort of Nevin 14. And then, I also told him we'd remove the bench and the trash can from this hole. And move it down to the parking lot. And then they said they'd pay for a sign that says this is the last trash can until the end of the course, which isn't true because there's one on 15 and they know that, but just to get people to throw their trash away right there at the parking lot. They offered to pay for it and put it up, so it is what it is. And so I think this would be a similar type hole. They said that they'd get us some U-channel signpost and put a red M sign with an arrow on it, so we didn't have to stick anything in the tree, and it would be there permanently. No one could take it out. No one would be mad because the park approved it, so on and so forth. So, so this short tee pin is gone forever. Probably gonna get rid of this short pin and just have one down in the low area, and they'll move this tee pad and they'll either move this drop pad or make a new one. All right, so any questions on Nevin, hole 14?
No, good work. I mean, that's a great compromise for what you need to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's fantastic. No complaints.
And we'll just see how it goes because, I just hope people don't throw in this guy's yard. So we'll see. We'll just keep figuring it out until we get it figured out. Okay, so Kilbourne's next. Okay, so here is the plan for the retention pond that's going to go on Kilbourne 1. So to orient yourself, here's the short, this blue dot. That's the short tee pad. And the long, and the basket here is in the red. So you can see their retention pond is going to be another 40 feet past the old basket. So, to throw even from the short to the basket would be a 400, we'd have to put the basket outside of the retention pond. It would be a 500-foot throw from the short. So ultimately,
that's a damn big pond too.
Yeah, well, you could see down here, this little black thing, they're draining water from the road too. So the road is going to drain into here. The park's going to drain into here. The parking lot's going to drain into here, and it's going to be sand filtered and stuff. So, and mind you, all these people I'm talking about are all completely different people. So, because the park director didn't even know, different park director than the one I was talking about, he didn't know about any of this. He had never seen the maps. And the guy that I talked to at Nevin, who's in charge of Hornets Nest, he had never seen any of the Greenway maps. So no one knows what's going on. I'm the only one that tells you people to talk to each other, it sounds like. So the plan would be initially is sooner than later. This is like maybe a year from now to start, a year to complete. And So sooner than later, we're gonna close the long in the short tee backs here and remove the basket. People will start on hole 2, and they're gonna move a tee box from wherever we want to the new 17. We'll cut down the magnolia is so pretty, but we'll probably cut it down. And so, you know, maybe one of the Skillborn baskets, like nine Skillborn tee pad, like 9 that no one even knows exists or throws from. They can go dig that up and put it over on 17 for us, so we don't have to do that work. And then in the future, wherever the basket will be kind of longer and back sort of in where that area is that they cut down all the bamboo, and they'll go woods mow that and chip it all down and make it all nice for us. And the folks that are doing all the work are going to put in a couple tee pads for us wherever we need to. And then I'm going to go in and so for every big tree, 12-inch tree or bigger they cut down, they got to plant 2 trees. So I'm going to go tell them where to plant those trees. So they want me to come back and plant the trees once the work's all done, so they won't be in our way. We'll just find, a way to make this work. And then, so we talked about a practice area, maybe like 2 or 3 baskets, and to kind of plant some, pretty trees. What they're doing is they're gonna put a big walking path through that woods, and they're gonna redo all these woods to make them a little bit more street friendly. And so, there might be some colorful bushes and some stuff that might be kind of neat to putt around. We can plant some trees or plan them around that little practice area around where the current one is. And the Bill Jacobson bench, or the Sean Jacobson family bench. It's on hole 1 I told him about. It was homemade. Called up Bill and told him what I talked with the parks about, which was removing the bench. Asked him what he wanted us to do with it, because the park said, hey, we'll pay for like a professional, one of those standard memorial benches you see in the parks, whether it's like a black sort of vinyl coated or it's the hardwood with the black sort of cemented in metal posts. And they get the brass plate that says whatever on it, so it would match all their memorial benches, which would be behind one of these tee pads here. And then I just asked him to find out, what kind of flowers or colors or whatever the girls liked, and so we could see if there's some bushes that might have those on them, and so it'd be a little bit prettier of an area around that memorial bench. So that's sort of the plan for the memorial bench on Kilbourne, and like I said, they're going to pay for the bench and the plaque, and then we'll just move the old one to some course somewhere and let Bill know where it is. So this is the plan for hole 1. Like I said, hole 1 will probably get closed sooner than later. It was my idea. Just said, hey, I don't want people coming in from out of town thinking this is hole 1. I wanted to get into UDisc. I wanted to get into people's minds that, you start on hole 2, and so they're not throwing over construction workers. And it's kind of a segue into, which isn't actually next. Well, I'll make it next here. Segue into Eastway. They say, like, a couple times a week they have people roll in, pulling discs and like disc carts out of their car, getting ready to play around. And they're like, did you not notice as you drove in the difference in the property and the signs that say construction area don't enter? And they're like, what are you talking about? We're just here to play disc golf. I mean, the place looks like a bomb went off in it. And anyway, so I just don't want that at Kilbourne if I can, help it. So anyways, anybody have questions about Kilbourne? All right. Yeah, so it's basically going to be me putting down flags and then them actually doing the work for a lot of this. All right, so Eastway, I talked with the project manager, the planning guy, the guy that's going to be the supervisor of the facility. Again, it's like a $20 million facility, $40 million when it's all said and done. So they have their own event manager over this. And then, so, you know, his only job will be this park. So I walked with him. I walked with the construction guy that's in charge of all the construction on the property, the planner, and David Weaver, who I'm working with. He's going to be doing most of the design, but we're walking together to do the design here. And so just to orient yourself, hole 18 was basically here where my little arrow is. Okay, that's where the basket was, or maybe even farther out into the parking lot. Okay, so this map is totally inaccurate, but it just gives you an idea of, you remember holes like 13, 14, 15, like this
Right.
hole, like hole 16. Hole 16, I mean, the entire thing of hole 16 is now a giant retaining wall. Is a retention pond. So, but we actually have, you know, we're going to plan to play a par 4 down into here, and there's another par 4 down in the pond, and we've got some holes over the pond and sort of around, and we're not actually going to be in here, but this is all behind the old soccer field, which is going to be a giant 4 soccer field, AstroTurf field with like the netting and everything. So this is going to be split into 4 fields here. And we'll probably end up teeing from old hole 9 as hole 1. But we'll go through these woods here. There's some land and property we got to be 100 feet away from, so we're going to figure that out. And then this is the lower area. So if we go to the right side of the field, you can see they've redone the retention pond all up along hole 1, 3, 4, all through there. They're going to have sand volleyball courts, basketball courts, a splash pad, like all sort of in this zone. That's in like phase 2 or 3. But you can see they've made a asphalt path all the way down. Old hole too long used to be basically like here. And so they've made an asphalt path all the way back, and these woods are just amazing back in here. And so they've given us all this. The only thing is, if you see this like purple area, this is about where a road will come through. It'll kind of come out here and make a T intersection, make a 3-way intersection, and then come right out through here. So we're gonna have a road sort of in here. So we have to find a couple holes in through here. Right now we got like a par 5 kind of coming out to old hole 6-ish, 7. But anyways, we're walking it. The plan is for them to hire a landscaping company with one of the big, you know, tree mulchers, you know, to kind of buzz through the course to the best. And so in the next few weeks, once we get a better design, we'll walk the whole property with those folks, and so that they can give a quote to the county for, I mean, he's really pushing me. He wants people on this property 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Like, they want just so much traffic. They need traffic guards coming in and out of this place. So they really want the disc golf course in here to get people in, and some other things. So he's pushing me to kind of get a design so we can walk with and get a quote from those people. I said we'd do signage, but they'll do concrete. The manager of the guy that will be the feature manager of the property is a disc golfer, and he mentioned 2 tee pads per hole. So we're planning to do that as well as we, as many times as we can, to have at least, try to have 2 tee pads on most of the holes. So this would be probably a 30 tee pad, 18 hole course. And then once they get all their tennis or basketball courts and everything put in, then we'll go back and put in a little 9 hole, 100-foot shots around trees and stuff, so that they can have like programs with kids and run out for half an hour and play. Just basically where the old hole 1, 2, 3, 4 were, just put 9 holes in those woods. so that, like I said, they can have programs with kids, and that'll help us grow the sport. Then they can graduate up to some of the longer stuff, but with shorter tee pads, and then go to maybe like an advanced. We're targeting high intermediate to advanced. You know, a high intermediate player can throw 400 feet. So, you know, we're going to have 400-foot par threes. And then we'll have 300-foot par threes on the same hole, you know, for the lower level players. So that's sort of where, you know, this will never be a gold level course, but we're sort of targeting for that blue level, you know, 700-foot par four kind of deal. So that's Eastway.
Is there a timetable? Did they give you a timetable, Mark?
No, I think it kind of depends on us getting out there. We're trying to. I was out last week, a couple hours. I was out this week, a couple hours with David, and we'll keep going out every week until we get a good plan and then meet with them. So I would say by next meeting we'll maybe have met. It depends on my vacations too, but we'll maybe have met with the landscaping people too, to get them to tell us, hey, you know, work of the parks. What can we cut down? What can you cut down? What will it look like? You know, what does phase one of the disc golf course look like? You know, we cut down everything that we want under 6 inches, and then we leave everything else, and then we go through and selectively knock out other stuff. You know, what will the park let us do? I mean, they bulldozed this, so hopefully they, you know, don't scoff at any of the stuff we want to do in here. But anyways, no official timetable.
Okay.
I think that they'd like to have it done by the grand opening. You know, that seems like, you know, or around that time. A grand opening will be a while after it opens, right? But
Right.
So I would say by this time next year we'll be pretty close.
Okay.
Is
So
David Weaver going to take over as course director for Eastway?
that's what the goal.
Okay.
That's
So
the
we need
plan.
to find somebody for Rinsky? Kinda.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's, you know, we can ignore this because we went out there and changed a bunch of stuff today after we looked at it. So then Idlewild, I don't have a fancy map here, but just some of the changes that we've been doing. We framed out along tee hole 6. Stan's been out mowing for us. I gave him a club mower to mow. And we have a long hole 7 tee and a par 5 basket location, which will be the only basket location for a while, so that people knock down, they don't just play the short, but eventually we'll probably have 2 baskets there. And that's really close. The sleeve's already in the ground, so I'd say another work day, and we're going to be digging up that old basket and then putting it in the long, and we'll have a par 5 from the short tee pad. And you can play long. I mean, it's flat and it's framed out, but we've got a long 13 tee. All these are pretty much done, just waiting for concrete. A long 14 tee box, long 17 baskets already there. We went through and put out, I don't know, 70, well, maybe 100 feet of erosion diverting, just to keep stuff in the creeks and keep it from wearing down the fairway. We went out yesterday and built on hole 4. Water just was going right down the center of the fairway, all the way down to basically to the tee pad on 4 from the basket. We did some diversion out there, just trying to add some longevity to the course. And we're gonna keep doing that. I've been walking it in the rain, just to keep, just like I said, just to make the course, you know, it can get kind of sloppy out there. And if anybody's been out there, you've seen what we've done on 8 and 9, some of the bridges, you know, 18, obviously, some other stuff. So we're just going to keep town water where we want it to go, so it doesn't kill our trees and erode our fairways. And then also as part of this plan is to lengthen or fix some of the short or tee pads that have drop off. So like hole 10 short has it's like a mushroom top, right? So we're just gonna pour a 5 by 10 around it, right? And Same thing with the long. And some of the other holes, we're just going to pour 5x10s around the 4x8s. And just make some of these holes that are a little bit more dangerous, or you could use a little bit more run up longer. And then maybe a long 5 tee. And then, we're just trying to get to a full truckload of concrete ultimately. So we'll fix some things, but looked at it. A long 1 basket. We've lost some trees on that hole. And then maybe a long 18 tee box, but we don't really know yet. So, I don't know if anybody's been out there, but anybody have any questions on that?
Looks great out there. I was out there about 3 hours ago.
All right. Do you see all the out of the little diverters look?
Yeah,
I had to make them so they didn't affect play.
I played the 12-hole loop today. I went from 4 to 11, so I didn't see some of the, but I saw the long 7 pad the other day. That looks awesome.
Did you see the diverters up by 4's basket?
Yeah.
The ditches?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we tried to make them so they kind of blended in, and we're gentle, but, I'm excited to get a hard rain sometime and see how they work.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I live right by there, so if you need help out there, please reach out. I'd love to come help.
I'll add you to you're active on Facebook?
Not really, but I can be.
All right. Well, we have like a messenger group. So whenever we go out, we just message that group. So if you're willing to use Facebook Messenger, it just makes it easier because it's hard to like text 30 people.
Yeah, no doubt. I can get on that.
All right. I'll add you. Okay. So then, as I announced on our website, we got we have just a we're gonna have a basket raffle. So sometime at the end of mid or to the end of summer, we'll raffle a basket, and I'll put people's names in every time they help. Volunteer with one of the course directors, and if a course director goes to another course, then I just put their name on here. So, so if David Weaver's helping out at Idlewild, I'm going to throw his name on there. I feel like course director should have some benefit too, other than just the hard work and getting yelled at by me. So, this is what we got right now. So if people want to have work days, or they know people have done stuff, just send me a message and I'll get them added, and we'll just keep this list going, and we'll draw. And the drawing will be for just any disc catcher of your choice from one of our courses, except for anything we've replaced recently. The goal really is to kind of switch out equipment and get a basket people care about to people that care about it. So if you've aced it, or you love it, or whatever, you propose next to it, I don't know, this is your chance without stealing it. So anyways, come volunteer, reach out to the course directors or me, and we'll get you hooked up. That's pretty much what I have. I don't have any news on anything else since last meeting.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
Yep. Let me turn it over to whoever wants to talk now.
Well, I would say let's, since we started talking on the courses, Jim has joined the call. So y'all who do not know Jim Keenan, who's a club member, and also, so we have 2 subjects on the agenda tonight with those who are with us. So Andrew and is Daniel, is that right? Daniel are with us, and Jim is with us with an idea for charitable contribution. And I would say, Jim, let's go ahead and talk to you. Give us a sense of where you are and what the foundation has told you.
So, for those who don't know me, I'm the guy that got Jim Banbury into disc golf, and then he quickly got better than me, which I haven't completely forgiven him for, but it's okay. In short, I want to propose donating $5,000 to the club to get a new course built at William Davey. That's the challenge. We had some glitches I had some glitches that the funds would come out of a Rotary donor advised fund. Apparently the individual handling that in their shutdown was not getting back to me. That's why we were going to meet a couple of weeks back, but that person has apparently been replaced, and I have someone who's very responsive, and I can access those dollars again. A little history on this. I first posed this with Stan and Sam in probably 2008. We met with then Parks Director Jim Gargis and one of his lieutenants. Had lunch one day. They were fine with the idea of William Davey. Disc golf is in the master plan at William Davey, and I'm going to be very honest and selfish here. William Davey is the closest park to me, and it fills a need. There's a big disc golf void in Central South Charlotte, and William Davey is probably closest to me, and so it seemed like a good place. Stan had an idea for how a layout would be. I think if I recall the conversation many years ago, it would be something on the order of a Rinsky. It wouldn't be a pro course. That's fine. I'm not a pro. I appreciate Mark's concept that intermediates can throw 400 feet. I'll tell you that average intermediates, we only dream of that, but you give me some training and I'll try harder. At any rate, Stan had some ideas. Again, this has been quite a few years ago. When Worlds came along, well, let me finish the conversation on the park. The holdup on the park was kind of two things. Back in 2008, when we first talked about this, disc golf was still, I think the stewardship folks in that parks district felt like disc golf was maybe not in keeping with the demographic there. I think that's probably changed by now. And since then, they did build a dog park. And so I recognize that may preclude having the necessary space. But my goal is to give the club an incentive to at least have a conversation with the parks and to see if disc golf can be included at William Davey. And I think $5,000, I calculated that at the time, that was enough to buy a set of 18 baskets. So that was kind of where I rounded it out, but that's where the number came from. So let me put that out there and just see what people have to say.
Mark, have you ever had a conversation with Park and Rec about William Davey?
Yeah, I've had some conversations about Davey, McAlpine Creek, Boys Park, and there's a park, it's escaping my mind right now, but on Monroe, just down, maybe halfway into Charlotte. It's on the right side. You can see the baseball field as you.
Oh yeah, right before you get to East Meck High School.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what.
And there's also a Francis Beatty Park down there in the same area as, sort of going down towards R.W. Davey.
Yeah, that's Colonel Beatty Park.
Yeah, so those are 5 places that we've talked about in passing. So to Jim's point, there's a park director that literally has no disc golf courses. There's a Southeast region manager that doesn't have any disc golf course region. That'd be Matthews. That's a different park department, but basically 485 to Independence, and then down 77. There's nothing there until you get to Elon, and so what I've heard, and we can revisit, is that there's no interest in more amenities at R.W. Davey at this time for any amenities because the parking lot's so small. And at the time of 2012 Worlds, that was in the plan. They nixed it because of the parking. Stan suggested, hey, we would clear an area for disc golf parking, pay to have gravel put in somewhere in the park. There's places. So that was his solution. They still kind of, but people have changed since then. And the perception of disc golf, I would have to say, isn't much better. Every time I mean, it's just is what it is. You know, parks are non-alcoholic. We can argue about other sports, but if you go to a disc golf trash can, it's filled to the brim with IPAs. And, well, I mean, let's just be honest. The smell that disc golfers pass along through the entire course, you know, we just aren't able right now to not able to follow the rules of the park, whether it's smoking or drinking, tobacco products. It's not a situation where we can just say, hey, well, look at what softball players do, or look what the dads do in the parking lot while they're watching Little League games. You know, it's on us to fix that thing. And without the ability to sort of police our own, I've met with 12 park representatives this week. All 12 mentioned drinking, marijuana, and smoking as being, they love disc golf and they want to work with us, but they just throw it out there that, hey, you know, there's going to be park users that are going to complain about disc golf, and and those people are going to notice all those things. And so I'm only just saying that's what the general feeling is. It doesn't have anything to do with this park, but those people, Boyce Park is amazing woods, awesome, no parking, and the park guy said the people that live around this place do not want disc golfers. You know, like he's like, I guarantee they do not want disc golfers in this place, not because of the woods, but because of the things that disc golfers do. And so there's the perception still there. So I will say that I can definitely reach out. I don't know who owns that. I don't know who has that park. So I have a really good relationship with the South Region guy, who's in charge of Kilbourne, and you know, so he offered up McAlpine Creek, which I don't know if it just didn't make sense because there's so many people out there, but and then so I'll just say I'll talk to him about that, but there's a couple other options just to ruminate on. I've been throwing out the idea of that Stan was promised and has been promised and never told no, an inner loop at Nevin, a beginner inner loop. So it'd be all inside the road basically. So there's an option there. I bring that up and I haven't had much pushback, and I've been bringing it up to different people too as I meet more people in the park departments. And I met another planner who really likes disc golf that kind of is, anyways, he was open to the idea of researching it for me. And then Beatty, there might be an area there for some land. They kind of threw that out because there's a ton of parking out at Francis Beatty.
Yep.
A lot of walking trails too, but there's an area. It might only be a 9-hole area. I don't know. I haven't really walked it. You know, it's just tough with all the changes we've had in Charlotte to get out to new parks. And then I've looked at a beginner course at that park that I talked about by East Mech that could be 18 or 9 or 18 holes.
Rob Wallace Park. That's what it is. Rob Wallace Park.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's a few neighbors that don't like what goes on in that park. So it could be bad for us, or it could be good because we could be the kind of people that would scare those people out. Anyways, I don't know. You don't know anything. All the park people I talk to say you never know until you ask. I would say that building a course is, baskets and locks and everything, you're probably getting closer to $6,000. Not that that's a big deal or anything to even worry about, but that's not all there's actually building the course. And so that's something that we'd really need to figure out and see if that's something we get the parks to help us with. You know, if that went through, then we'd have to really buy in for, you know, cutting it out, or, I mean, just to be honest, we just can't put in new courses without parks doing the work when we have a work day. We're in a time where people aren't even working, and you have a work day and you get 2 people. So, I mean, I feel like this is like the perfect time for people to be giving back to the sport, and we're just not getting the volunteers. I mean, I got a list here, 6 people. And these are, you know, people are just not helping. We need to figure out how to get people engaged. And so a completely new course that the park's not like saying, hey, we want, then we either need to make them want it, but we really need to figure out what the heck's going on with kind of volunteer, you know, how to make this happen, to put in a full new course. So that's all. I mean, I'm starting a new career, so I can't be out all the time, you know, doing that stuff. So those are the challenges. I'll reach out to the park guys, say, hey, who's in charge of this? I'll get a meeting, go out there and walk it, say, you know, we could commit to no tournaments out there. You know, there's a lot of things we could do to reduce parking issues. You know, like Squirrel Lake, you know, they don't want to have more than 12 holes because there's literally no more parking spots. So, you know, that's what I've heard, is parking is just a giant issue out there. And if you drive by it, you'll see, I mean, people are all like parking along Pineville Matthews. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that, I hope that it sounded a little bit positive, that we can ask, and they do want more disc golf courses. It's just, is that the park that will happen at? I don't know, because I haven't asked in a long time.
So I appreciate the conversation, Mark, and I don't disagree with anything I've heard, and those issues aren't necessarily new. I'm telling you honestly that Stan ran into the same resistance for that particular park. I quite frankly, it's the Southside Soccer Mom just thought disc golf didn't. I don't know. I'm making that up. That's not quite right. But they honestly just felt like disc golf wasn't the appropriate sport for the area. Although I promise you, all of the young kids that play, you know, many of our young disc golfers are coming from that area, and they're going to other neighborhoods. And you know, there's a part of me that really saw it as almost a distributive equity. It sort of irritated me, and Jim Gargis and his folks were very they were very encouraged, and it's interesting, but they don't seem to hold much power, even with a master plan, over the local district groups that lead those district parks. And so part of my hope, so here's, you know, what I would propose is this. This contribution a little bit is I like what we've got. I think it's a neat sport. It's been one sport that I've stuck with for many years, because I enjoy not only the exercise, I enjoy trying to achieve a better score the next time I'm at any given course, and I play all the courses, and I drive out of town to other courses just for the variety and the exercise and the camaraderie. And the people who play disc golf are by and large really, I think, good people. My goal is this: if we kind of repeated that meeting with the right people at parks, and it sounds to me like you are at least aligned to where the club can say, hey, we've got an offer of a donation, and it wouldn't be everything needed to build a park, but there is someone willing to contribute money to consider a park at this course, at this park, to consider a course at William Davey. The worst they can do is say, well, it's in the master plan, but we're going to say no again. And at that point, I'm willing to look at other options. I do consider the sport worth contributing to in some fashion. I think that if we had to take an alternative and think about it, I would just want to make a contribution that would be durable. I know there's a million maintenance needs. Truth is, the parks need to bring about 100 dump trucks of mulch to every park, and we need to cover the fairways. But 2 years from now, that would all be gone. And it's a valid need, but it's, you know, my sense is I would just like a contribution to be more durable. So I would propose this, if we could get a meeting with, and I think Jim Gard just moved on a couple of years back. I can't, Jim, I've now forgotten who runs the parks. I still know some of the staff over there, but I've forgotten who runs it. But if we could at least tempt them with, hey, we've got an offer of a donation, and we'd like to, and let's have the conversation again. And Mark, you know the parks, you have the ideas. I think Mason Wallace Park feels like it's significantly too small. I don't know about Boyce, but let's at least have the conversation. And if we get all negatives from that, then I'm willing to sit down and talk to you guys again about maybe what the next way to utilize this is, or another good way.
I think we go in with that course and just really talk about how, you know, we have an amenity that people travel to Charlotte to play.
Yes.
There's a whole region that in Charlotte that doesn't have a course.
Right. I mean, it's kind of funny. It's sort of funny given the current events of the day that we have, there's kids all throughout South Charlotte that are playing disc golf. I know you see them you see them at Elon, but they're driving all over town to play elsewhere. And you know, I recognize the habits of disc golfers. I've done this for a little while, and so anyway, to me, if we can, maybe the first step is we have that conversation with parks. I'll be happy to join in. I'll you know, participate in however it works, and you know, if that runs into too much resistance, I'm certainly willing to say let's step back and maybe look at another idea. Maybe it's a second set of tee pads or a second set of baskets in an existing park. I'd just like to have a little more golf a little closer to the house, and I live in Providence Fairview area, so I'm radiating from there.
Me too.
Okay. Well, Jim, thank you very much for the offer, and certainly we'd like to try to make this happen. So we'll see if we can't get Mark can touch the right buttons and turn it into something.
And I don't mean to put it all on Mark. I'm willing to sit in on a meeting with Mark and you if we can pull a meeting together with parks or what have you. So Jim, you know how to reach me, and you know, let's make something good happen. And by the way, you guys are doing a fantastic job on all things parks. I see Mark out there. I talked to him at Idlewild a couple of weeks ago, and you guys are the hardest working folks in show business. So nice job, and I hope we can bring more good things to town.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
all right,
Jim.
Andrew, you and Daniel want to talk about your concept?
Yeah, so first off, again, just like Jim was saying, thank you guys for everything you guys do for the sport and for Charlotte disc golf as a whole. That's awesome, everything you guys do. I'd love for us to try to become a part of that if you guys are willing and open to it. We do have the Charlotte disc golf page on Instagram. We really didn't plan on initially it getting as big as it has. We're right around 5,000 followers on the page. And we've got some pretty active people that comment and like all of our stuff. And I'd love to throw out the opportunity of us posting about, you know, different Charlotte events, maybe even getting into the volunteers, posting about trying to get volunteer groups set up and trying to get things started. I know me and Daniel are willing to volunteer ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And put in some work. So I live right off of or pretty much 4 minutes from Scrapyard. So that'd be one course that I'd be willing to help out a lot, and then really anywhere in the area. Also, I have a degree in graphic design, so sounds like you guys have that pretty much covered up, but if you need any help with it, love to be able to help with that, and just love to be able to kind of use our following to spread the word about Charlotte disc golf, and then maybe just get with you guys and see what your thoughts are on how you could use our help, or if you could use it at all.
Well, I guess and help me out some, Andrew. I'm not an Instagram person, but I guess I'm versed enough to be able to say there are a number of elements within what the club does. It seemed like they would integrate with Instagram, even, I mean, as much as promoting individual leagues or individual events or pulling people together for, as you said, for volunteer sessions or work days. I guess, how would you see it integrating with that which we already do as far as our calendar is concerned?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, if you guys wanted to pretty much reach out to me and give me all of the different leagues that are going on, and then the different, like the Sunday doubles, the Glow League, all that stuff, and we just started, I could design flyers or posts for the page, and I could also send those to you to post to the Facebook page we already have, and just keep that up to date. And then I could also make a website if we need to, but I think you guys already got that covered. We could just design things and have people reach out, or reach out to the Facebook page if you wanted to do that, or reach out to me directly. But I think we could get out wide messages to a vast group of people. A lot of popular discount pages on Instagram, so I think it's a good platform for it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So to give you guys some context, and my computer's been flaking out the whole time. I've had to reboot twice. I'm frozen right now. Everybody's panes are frozen, but I'm glad you guys can hear me. So the Charlotte Disc Golf Club Instagram account, Jim, we have a massive 228 followers. Another round, which is actually extremely active on social media, 2,214 followers. Charlotte Disc Golf has 5,006 followers. So it's definitely, I think it would be an advantage to us to be able to reach a large amount of people. Now, obviously, not all those people are local to Charlotte, but still, I see some value here for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely a wide range. It's not all Charlotte people, but I feel like a majority, or at least a lot of Charlotte people that are on the Instagram platform do follow the page and enjoy watching what we put out.
Yeah, and even if they're not in Charlotte, they're clearly interested in Charlotte, and that's good enough.
Exactly. Yeah, we want to be number one in the world. Hopefully, make Charlotte the place to be for disc golf. So.
Yeah. Hey, is Matt Cheney on? Matt, are you still there?
Still
No,
there.
he's off.
No, I'm here.
Oh, he is? Okay, not
Yep.
listed.
Nope, I'm here. I just shut the video off.
Gotcha.
It's taking up too much bandwidth.
So I'm curious about Matt's feedback, and if you have any on this topic. I think it's a good move because our Instagram, I think BT was doing it for a little while, and now that he's stepped back, we don't really have a presence on there, and it's a good platform to be on. A lot of the younger kids are on Instagram, and I think it's a good place to have some more, have a bigger profile.
And we'd also like to have more content to post to get more followers. So like, ACE videos, they'll get a lot more likes. They'll get us out there as opposed to less followers, not as many people will be seeing that stuff.
And you can create the content with the different events upcoming in Charlotte, like you said, posting about the leagues, keep updating everybody on that, posting about volunteer work, and just really using it to reach out to, like you said, a wide variety of people.
Yeah, Andrew, since Facebook and Instagram are basically connected, could you just access our Facebook and share stuff via that to Instagram? Is that how easy it is?
Yeah, we just have to basically. I'm not as versed in Facebook, so I'm more of an Instagram guy. But Daniel is good with Facebook, so.
Right. So we should. I think we could make you an admin of our Charlotte DGC page, and then we could allow you to share that to Instagram pretty seamlessly, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Right.
Great idea, Josh.
We just have to make sure our Charlotte DGC Facebook page is still, as active as we want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. We want to do all,
Yeah, and that can also bring people to that page on Facebook through Instagram and vice versa.
Sure. Yeah. That's
And I don't like. I know we have our own little brand and thing, but we haven't really. I don't know if all you guys have seen it, but that is our page logo. Um, of course, with it having the Charlotte Crown, it is kind of hard for us to trademark or do anything as far as a sale of that logo. Of that nature. However, your logo is something that I believe could do that, and I'd love to help out whoever's doing that in designing the shirts and designing that stuff, and then using the platform to try to raise that money to go towards the club and help get the parks and everything that we need to get done.
Concern our logo. Jeremy Colin created the logo 5 or 6 years ago, and I think it's a really good logo for the club, and there's been a really good response to it. And I think we want to try to keep that logo at least for another 3 or 4 years to come. And traditionally, Charlotte seems to have switched up their logo design every 4 to 5 years, but I don't see the need to really do that at this point. I think it's working good for us, and if we could just get to be a little better at marketing it and branding some products with it, I think the logo could last for another 4 or 5 years or so. I don't see a need to change it right now. I guess, yeah. So maybe there's some type of collaboration that we could come to terms with, where we work. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'd love to do that. I mean, like I said, for us with us incorporating the Crown again, because when I originally started all this, we didn't expect it to get as big of a following as it has. So we didn't know I'd be running into needing trademark issues and things of that to profit off of it. So, I mean, if I even, depending on how you guys felt about it, I mean, if you guys wanted to join forces and me even potentially use like the Charlotte Disc Golf Club, then branch out from our same page and just really all I want to do is grow the sport for the community and just get everything better as a whole. So I don't want it to be any type of selfish thing or anything. I'd rather it be everybody in the community and the page benefiting from it. So whatever you guys think is best. You guys are the ones putting the work out in the field. I'd just like to start helping.
I think it sounds like a fantastic opportunity. I think we need to just continue this conversation and feel out what the best way to merge our two, forces and figure out a way to just make everything work for your benefit and our benefit as well. Yeah. So maybe we continue this via email conversation or something like that. Just start spitballing ideas and see where we stand with this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Always willing to meet out on a course too. Always willing.
Matt, do you have any ideas as far as this is concerned?
No, I mean, I think our socials are kind of separate at this point from our website, which, now we're going to be bringing more into like the online sales and I mean, basically our website needs to have, until we can find like a content writer, I think the socials take care of a lot of that stuff. As far as providing like easy content, photos and stuff, it's kind of a pain in the ass with the website to do all that stuff and to keep it up. I think the socials and Instagram, especially being so media based, is a much better way to do that. To link back to the site to join the club, and also like once we get our online shop up to run some stuff like that, and also we'll have the calendar updated. So I think those are the things that the website is going to be really useful for, is getting people to like a quick and easy access link to sign up for the club, the online shop and the calendar, and everything else. I think all the media and stuff. I mean, honestly, most people are on the socials. Like nobody goes to websites anymore to get the news or videos and stuff. It's all Instagram and Facebook. So I think it's a really good plan that you guys have to get those going, get followers, and just publish content. I mean, that's really what it is. Content is king. It's always been that way. It still is that way. So to have some activity is really exciting, and I think is super beneficial for us.
Yeah, you've got like Jomez Pro and and all the disc manufacturers, Discraft, all these are all very dominant, and they use that in a lot of their outreach. And I feel like having the links on your page, especially if people are coming to view all the content, and then if, we could get your permission to even just put the link to the club in our bio to where people can click on that and put the link in there for people to go to the shop and purchase these products in order to help the club. Yeah, I'd love to do that as well.
That'd be great.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew, you and Daniel. Thanks both for the idea. This is clearly a collaboration that's going to work good for both y'all and us too.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you guys for the opportunity and letting us join you on your call. And
Yeah.
I'd love to continue keeping working and keeping on the call.
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. I think we'll maybe start. I don't know if email's going to work best for us, or maybe a Slack. We have a Slack channel, if you're familiar with that. So maybe we can start a sub thread for this discussion, but we'll figure out a way to keep the conversation moving.
Yeah, actually, I think having a social media channel is fantastic. That's a great idea, Josh. I can set that up after the meeting.
All right.
I could give you guys my email or whatever you need to reach out.
Yeah, send that online because I don't know if you want to like say your email on a recorded Zoom call.
Yeah, I'll reach out. I guess all you guys are on via Facebook. Is that the best way to reach out to all you guys to start off?
Sure.
Facebook for now?
Yeah.
Yep. And then we could go from there. Very cool.
Okay, thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
All right, what else you got?
I have a random question. So I know that there's been like a lot of issues online with quarantine kind of being over and things getting back to more normal. And there's been issues like parks like Scrapyard as well as some other parks were like throwing towards people and over people. And I see a lot of posts and everything. I just didn't know, like, from the club standpoint, I know like signage has been talked about and everything. I just didn't know, like, is there something, are we going to put like a sign up or just kind of say like, I mean, it is an open park? It just seems like a lot of back and forth on Facebook and other media sources, and I didn't know if there was anything.
Are you talking about like safety protocols and social distancing protocols? Is that what you're referring to?
No, well, I'm talking about more about like Scrapyard. There was like a post about people like fishing, and then there was like 62 plus comments about throwing into where people were fishing, and
oh, you're talking about 9. 8
Yeah,
yeah, so
8, 9.
But so it is a public park, and so that's why I just didn't know, like, if I know there's talks about like Huey was gonna reach out to the park. I just didn't know, like, since we're having the club meeting now, like, is there, with everything going on and people like starting to leave the houses again, is something going to change with certain things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a tough. That's definitely a troublesome area, but it is a tough situation. I mean, if anybody's played Hornets Nest, people just set up a volleyball court in the middle of hole 10 or whatever,
Oh.
right along the parking
People
lot.
do jujitsu.
And
People
they
do jujitsu all the time in the middle of Hornets
Nevin-
Nest, so that's why I just didn't know.
11-14, or the pond around hole 2 at Hornets Nest. I mean, it's just, I don't know how to stop every situation. I just hope that people are just, internet warriors, right? They're big and strong on the internet, but they're, when I read those comments, I feel like those are the same kind of people that I put a yellow sign in the middle of a fairway that says, hey, we're working on a disc golf course. either help, or see see what's going on, and then they just throw in over my kids in my truck, or other volunteers. So
And
if people are,
I feel like that's why,
honestly,
and I honestly feel like that's why I brought it up, because I feel like with all those comments and everything, it's just kind of one of those like sticky catch-22 situations where we're at a park, like if somebody's at a park, we're also at a disc golf course, and like what to do, especially if it's not tournament play. And just having you guys all here, like just seeing everything, I just didn't know if there was like a.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what you could do, because you have to solve for two groups of immature people, right? You have to solve for the people that are literally, like, I got text, people had pulled up their Subaru to the pond and were like floating in the pond on kayaks with like kids in a floaty behind the kayaks without like swim gear on, like toddlers, like in like blow up. Like, if there's people like that in the world, there's also going to be people like that in the disc golf world. And what the posters on that post, what they don't understand is, we might think we're hot shit. Sorry, excuse me. But, we might think because we have such a great environment here for disc golf that we're not on razor's edge. Well, you throw into that group, someone gets hit in the face, all of a sudden now we don't have any pond holes at Ottawa because you can't skip a hole.
Well, didn't that
because you
happen
can't
at
play.
Kilbourne?
It's
Didn't that happen at Kilbourne?
I don't, yeah, I mean, just people, like I said, I feel like most of that, full send kind of verbiage is just people being internet-y, and, like, why would you try to kill someone's kids with a disc just because they're like, they don't understand what the sport is, but then again, there are people that would literally do that, just throw in on a group of people fishing. And you could put all the signs up in the world, and if you look at the people that fish around that pond, I mean, they don't care about signs. And we could put them in every different language. I've seen 10 or 15 different. I mean, there was a couple Russian women out there walking right up the fairway at Idlewild. What am I gonna do? No sign's gonna stop them from walking the course backwards. The only thing that's gonna save them is me waiting for them to walk by and then throwing. And so if we all don't have that common decency, or just like, it's not a tournament. You're just out there with your friends. If you can't wait, or just skip the hole and play another hole twice, or come back later, or whatever, I don't know what amount of signs, I don't know what amount of like education is going to stop a jerk from being a jerk in both directions. If someone's wife has said, "Hey, you can finally get out of the house. I'll watch the kids go fish." That guy does not care about disc golfers. He's going to fish that pond until he's caught every fish, because eventually he has to go back home and he can't fish for another 2 months. It's the same thing with disc golfers. And so we just have to be smart about it, because, again, we're losing a hole basically at Nevin. I mean, we have to change a hole because people can't stop launching discs into a field and then yelling at the owners. And they told me a story about a disc landed on the top of one of the houses, and the guy came out and someone was crawling up the trellis on his front porch to crawl on the roof of his house to get a disc. So, I mean, if these are the people that are in our sport, the only thing we can ever do is just, ultimately the situation, what we do is we just say we don't throw over the pond anymore, and we add 2 holes on the other side of the pond, and just say, because that's the best way about it if people are just going to be stupid about it. And so we could put up signs, like that's something definitely that I can get the park to do around that pond. It's not going to stop people from fishing, and it's not going to, the only thing we can do is just get people to be responsible with their discs, because we'll get we'll get that. We'll get those holes pulled. I mean, that's just the proof is in the pudding, right? Hornets Nest, we lost a basket by the baseball field because people kept jumping in. We lose things all the time, and we're one guy in upper park department land that decides to get a bug in his ear about disc golf. His son gets hit fishing. All of a sudden, we start seeing disc golf courses going away. I mean, it's more precarious than people think. And so I just hope people are responsible. I mean, that's all.
Hey,
we
Mark, I've got a
And I
comment to make.
Phil?
Yeah, one of the things I think that's incredible about our sport is, the wide diversity of people that we have. But, Andrew with Instagram and, Charlotte area disc golf on Facebook has a huge page and people get a lot of information for them. But by partnering and joining forces and having every, socially respectable person comment on these that people are trying to, throw into people and suggesting it. And we just need to, as a club, anytime we see that, post, say, hey, our courses are at risk. You do that kind of things. Please skip the hole or wait for people to move nicely, whatever. But, never is the option to throw into people. And I think we can take to social media and, have a wide consensus of people, posting about, sensibility in this and maturity and trying to combat it on social media enough, with 5,000 followers on Andrew's page and, 2,500 on Charlotte area and our 500 or whatever we have on, our own page, let's combat that as much as we can, just in a cool, calm manner. And, make sure that people know the right thing to do is not to throw in. It's to make sure that people are safe so that we maintain our courses.
Right. And to add to that, Phil, I'm on the Charlotte area page on Facebook, and I see people posting all the time about, someone threw a disc or something, but only people on that page are going to see that, whereas opposed to posting on everything, it has more chance of people seeing it and respecting it and, not throwing in people.
Exactly. And the bigger the audience that we can muster, that's where your instrument plan, and partnership can really help too. The more people, that see this, maybe they will listen and teach other people, because a lot of people, let's face it, a lot of the people that are fishing, a lot of the people that are advocating throwing are not member of any club. They're not member of a Facebook page. We have a lot of renegades out there.
Yeah, they have one or two discs, and they just go and play.
Yep.
Run and throw.
Nothing wrong with that, but if
No.
you're doing it the wrong way.
Yeah.
We all started with one disc.
All right. What else we got? Well,
Shane, you
Mark-
got anything about the website and the store coming up? Any new news? Were you able to test that at all?
I hooked up email account and I hooked up our PayPal account, and it's kind of live, so you can kind of check it out.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 products on there, and I can add the rest in. I need descriptions for it, but if you want to check it out, everybody can check it out. Actually, not like I don't want anybody. Well, I haven't sold anything yet, so I'm not 100% sure it works. But it's charlottedgc.com/shop. And you can actually pull it up on your computer. I don't know if you can do a screen share. You can check that out. You can show everybody what we got so far.
You
I
said
don't-
Charlotte DGC. Charlotte
.com/shop. Look at the box set. That one I put in multiple images for. So it's got like a little gallery and everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got more than 12 in stock. We can update that.
Yeah. Well, that's
that's the
messing around
placeholder.
with like the inventory and seeing how that works, and we can do SKUs and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, so how is that going to work with live inventory? Once we sell something, does it automatically deduct it from our inventory if we just go and set an inventory?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice.
And I can set like alerts where like when it's got like 2 left or however many we can set, it's an arbitrary amount. Like it says like low stock. You know, kind
Nice.
of like Amazon's like buy now, there's only a few left kind of deal. We can do
Yeah.
that. I mean, it's super, super powerful, and there's so many different things. But as for the basics, I think it's pretty much all hooked up.
So how does it work when you go to place an order as far as the shipping and address? Do we get an email that tells us who bought it, where to send it to? And
Yes, it'll generate in the back end. So I got to make you an admin for it.
Okay.
But it'll generate like an order report of what got sold, what needs to be shipped out, and then I think you have the ability. Like what I'll do is I'll just set up a product for $1. I'll do a couple like test products. I don't mind doing a couple buck test products to make sure that it works. And that way you can see how the process looks and how it all works and how it flows.
I'm your first customer, Cheney.
Very
What
nice.
did you buy?
I got 2 stickers.
Spent $20 on stickers.
Because
I think I don't know if the stickers are $10. I just kind of put them up there, but all right.
it
Cool.
says $5.
It's $5.
Oh, they say $5. Okay, cool.
Okay, $5 is about right. Yeah, that should be good.
All right, cool. So I'll have a look at that later on tonight and see what kind of that looks like as far as the order and the fulfillment and everything.
Cool.
Please don't anybody buy anything on this yet. But did it allow you to purchase it through PayPal and everything?
Yep.
Okay.
Wow.
Why are we looking at a Google search screen?
I think he was trying to pull up our website.
I tried to share it. Oh, here. Sorry.
Apparently, he's really involved with Fox News, Yahoo, ESPN.
Quick, look at all of his tabs. Quick, screenshot it.
You don't have to. It's being recorded. Okay, is this fine?
Yeah, click on the box set because
Yeah, because we got multiple photos for that.
It'll show all the products and like a nice mosaic display. We can do tags so we can sort them. We can create all sorts of different pages, but it automatically just creates this page when you create a new item. So it's super baller.
And also, I got. I want to see that. So.
Oh yeah, show that.
That's awesome.
Is that the receipt?
Yeah, it's sent to my email.
Oh, cool. Does it have any logos on it? Because I thought there's like room for a header logo that I got.
There's no logo. It's just
Okay.
a receipt.
All right, that's cool. That's good to know.
Nice.
Can you like screenshot that and email board@charlottedgc.com or email me? But board would probably be good so Josh can look at it too.
All right.
But yeah, do you see how the gallery kind of shows up? So you can take all the multiple images that you took, Josh, so all the nice photos and that you took, you can easily kind of click through them, and like that's super helpful. So we can display stuff really nicely. And
yeah, really nice.
Very nice. Josh, how many sets do we have left?
I need to count. I think it's around 40 or so.
Okay. All right.
30s, mid 30s, 40. So we've got a few. And then we've got obviously the discs from the sets. So we've got a handful that are out of the box that randoms left from last year that we could sell, and I've sent Cheney the pictures for those. And then we could also potentially break up some of these sets if we feel like the discs are moving, because I mean, honestly, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with breaking these up to move the discs if they're going to generate some income for us.
Well,
away from the number of sets that were available potentially, and then limiting that is only actually maybe providing more value for the ones that were sold because there's less of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I have a random question. I know that the Disc Golf Pro Tour is coming back here. Now, have they talked about doing it? I know, like, with disc golf kind of being very weird with COVID. Has anybody talked about doing like a fly mart or anything like that, where we could publicize or sell Charlotte merch, like the box sets and like Charlotte stuff like that?
We don't. There's no way we can answer that question because we don't know what will be allowed. You know, we might not be able to have a crowd. We might not. I mean, they couldn't even guarantee that to the RNC, right? That you could have more than 10 people in a room. So, are we going to be able to have a fly mart of more than 25 people by then? Are we going to be able to have a room that can have more than 10 or 25 or 50 or whatever people in it? You know, we just don't know based on the guidelines for this state. You know, it's could be a spectatorless event.
Hey,
we don't know.
Speaking of which, Jim, if we redesignate our leagues and call them protests, can we have like 100 people show up?
Yeah, Jim, you go to a protest next Thursday?
Plastic throwing protest. So yeah, Karen, as far as that goes, I think if we've got our website up and running with merch by then, having a fly mart may not be a big hit for us because we've got this other avenue available.
Oh, I know. I was just saying, like, all the people that come from out of town that love Charlotte stuff, just like an avenue, or even if, like, we could sell at the course. I'm just saying, like, I feel like a lot of people took advantage of selling stuff at the course last year at the Disc Golf Pro Tour. And if we have merch to sell and people want to purchase Charlotte stuff, to have, like, some other form of revenue for the club, selling Charlotte merchandise during big events like that where people are coming into town, or even reaching out to, like, you know what I'm saying, like that kind of big event that's coming to our town. We're doing all this work for the course and getting it ready. Why not be able to set up a booth just like Discraft, Innova, all the touring pros do?
Yeah, and I think that we can certainly do that, but I think Mark's point is until we know what the guidelines are, we're blowing smoke. So, but yeah, we obviously want to do that.
I agree.
Yeah, but it just occurred to me, Josh and Andrew both, what if we made a special offer to the Instagram crowd from Charlotte Disc Golf Club on the box set and did an exclusive for the Instagram group and priced it at, a 10% discount or something?
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, I'd be all about that. And then, like I said, if you want me to post the link in the bio to the page for people to shop, because then anybody who visits the page is going to see that there and have the ability to click on it. So it'd just drive more traffic. I guess ultimately it sounds like if we want to make sure that the website is like properly functioning, I guess, and have those test runs done to make sure that the sets, we have that money coming to the club, I guess, and however the process.
Yeah, 100%. I think we still got a week or maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks tops of testing before we can fully launch. Would you agree, Matt?
Yeah, that sounds about right. It shouldn't be much more than that. It was actually a little bit easier than I thought everything would be.
Nice. Okay.
I don't know what website program you use too, but I'm also pretty good with website design. So
it's it's built on WordPress, and the shopping cart layout plugin is WooCommerce, which apparently is now owned by WordPress. So
nice. The
integration is pretty seamless, and it's using I can't remember what the name, Envato theme, which is like one of the I think that's where it came from. I can't remember the name of the specific theme, but it's like one of the most popular themes out there. Super modular. I'm certainly open to any input as far as you guys have, as far as, if you have suggestions on layout. It's visually like drag and drop kind of stuff. It's really easy to, I don't know if have you ever used WordPress?
A little bit. Yeah. I use typically like Adobe Muse or Dreamweaver. But yeah, WordPress is probably a little bit easier to maintain than some of those. So if you want me to do any graphics for that, or if you have any design layouts that you can think of, I have the ability to do that as well.
I mean, it's literally like the way that the visual composer is. It's like you drag and drop blocks and stuff. So it's like it's super easy, super modular. So you don't even need to like hard code it. And that way, every update that it has and all the plugins work with it seamlessly, and it stays updated and pretty much virus free. We haven't been hacked in a while. No Russian login attempts. Knock on wood. So lately, Ukrainian actually, I think it was a few years back. Tried to hack our site and did successfully. But we should be good now, especially now that we're using HTTPS, which is secure. We needed to do that for the payment processing, even though it's taken care of by PayPal. If we want to get away from PayPal, it's kind of tough because apparently PayPal now owns Braintree, which is like one of the other major credit card processing companies. So, I mean, as long as we're going to be using PayPal, and Joseph, as long as we keep taking money out of it, we don't leave a whole lot of money in there because basically have PayPal, the better we'll be. It's fine because everybody uses it and people feel safe with it. But as long as we keep taking our money out and not leaving a whole bunch in there to get potentially frozen, that's probably a good thing. I'm sure it's fine.
Noted.
So, hey, when transactions are going through the website, is that going through as a friends and family transaction or a business transaction? Okay, good.
Yep, it's connected directly through our business API.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
What else we got?
Anything else? That's it for me.
Yeah, I've got one question. Matt, did you get my email I forwarded you about the UDisc Live?
I did get the email, and apparently it's not updated yet because I kept I logged in again like 10 minutes ago, and I still don't have access to edit anything on my on that page.
Okay, it's probably going to take a couple days. I've been talking to Dave and Matt, and they didn't realize that some of these things weren't working on the beta for Live, but just
well, that's good. I mean, that's kind of what a beta system is to kind of figure out these things and fix them on their end. So, yeah.
One of the cool things about it is like with Jim running Shagaw, if you run UDisc Live scoring, everybody that has it, it comes up as an event. People log into it in the phone, they automatically check in, and it would make, signups so much simpler once they get all the bugs worked out of it, which, maybe a week or two.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be a great idea. And in fact, during this time when we're trying to figure out how to streamline league logistics because of the COVID-19, something like that would be a big help.
Yep. And they've been very, very responsive. I'm one of their ambassadors. I did all their beta tests, and they're really good to work with. And I think it's going to be the future for our leagues. Right now we've got Matt with the Friday Am League and Kilbourne tentatively set up, but we can't use them yet. And when we're ready to go with Shagaw, I'll request that one too. I've got the application, so any league that wants to run UDisc Live scoring, just let me know as event coordinator, and I'll contact UDisc and get that league added.
Awesome.
All right. Anything else? All right. Well, thank everybody. Good meeting. Daniel, Andrew, thank you very much for your contributions. We look forward to the collaboration. Clearly going to be a good idea for both of us.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I'll reach out and send everybody some Facebook messages, and then anything you guys want to talk about or have us talk to us about, just let us know.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. If there's not anything else, then we'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Night.